Hello, good morning. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, perfect. I'll go ahead and start now. This segment is sponsored by Ameren Corporation. Good morning and welcome back to Daytime with Kimberly and Esteban. Well, the connection between cardiovascular disease and diabetes has long been established, and with cardiovascular disease being the #1 cause of death in people with diabetes globally, the American Diabetes Association has addressed this issue and its updated standard of medical care in diabetes. We are here joined by Dr. Robert Bush, who's going to go ahead and discuss with us what people with diabetes should know about improving their health and how these guidelines can indeed affect them. So good morning and thanks for being on the show with us.
Thanks for having me, Danielle.
Absolutely. So can you just kind of tell us what people with diabetes should know about their cardiovascular risk?
Yes, so patients with diabetes are 2 to 4 times the risk of having a heart attack, stroke, or dying from cardiovascular disease. And this is despite taking cholesterol-lowering meds such as a statin and blood pressure meds and their diabetes meds. They still have this higher risk. So they should know they're at very high risk for heart disease, and a new study has come out that changes the standard of care on what we can do to lower the cardiovascular risk in patients with diabetes.
Absolutely, and we're going to have to pay attention to those standards in particular. But can you also elaborate on the new recommendations for treating people with diabetes to reduce that cardiovascular risk that you were talking about?
So the new recommendation is that patients with diabetes should know what their triglyceride level is. Triglyceride is another fat in the bloodstream that's probably in their chart already, but it really hasn't been handled by their caregiver or discussed in the past. If the triglyceride is 135 or higher, there's a drug called icosapent ethyl, or Vascepa is the trade name. And Vascepa is a prescription omega-3 fish oil. It's a prescription fish oil, not food additive fish oil that you get in a health food store, and not a generic omega-3, but a specific prescription branded fish oil that has been studied and shown to lower heart attack, stroke, and death by an additional 25%. These were patients already on a cholesterol-lowering statin drug to lower LDL to goal. They already had good blood pressure. Their diabetes, they were on medications for that. But despite that, the patients who didn't take the drug were at a much higher risk, and taking the Vascepa lowered heart attack, stroke, or cardiovascular death by 25%. So this was big innovation in the study at the American Heart Meeting in November. Now it was published in New England Journal, sort of the Bible of medicine, in January, and now it's a new standard of care from the American Diabetes Association standards of care to know your triglyceride level and to take Vascepa to lower your cardiovascular risk if your triglycerides are elevated over 135.